This is one of our first episodes around empowered women making a positive impact. Instead of an interview being the first one, I wanted to do a tribute to my stepdaughter, Raylene Grant, who passed away at the hands of a man 20 years older than her. She was 21. The reason I'm starting here is because domestic violence against women is happening more and more, and many women struggle to actually step up, speak out, and leave the relationship. Some women are stalked. They are stalked by men who attack them, leave them with permanent emotional injuries, impact their social skills because they are afraid to go out again, and these traumas take a long, long time to heal. I myself have been through relationship abuse. Some have been physical, some have been emotional, some have been both. Trauma is trauma. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not a counsellor, I am not a psychologist. This is lived experience, and I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to handle it, but in sharing this story, I hope to empower other women to take back control of their life. This is a hard video for me to do, so excuse me if I get a bit teary at times. It's real. The tears are real. You might not necessarily see them running down my face, but you'll hear my voice crack. Trauma is real. Doesn't matter who you are. When you experience a trauma, it stays with you for the rest of your life. Even though you might be able to move on, even though you might be able to have another relationship, even though you might be able to drive a car again because your trauma came from, say, a car accident. Trauma, an element of trauma will always stay with you. And it can take some people years and years and years to get over it, to be able to go into a new relationship, to be able to take forward and control of their life. And for other people, they never get over it and it becomes a chronic health condition. Because our mind, our emotions, and our body is all connected. It took me a long time to be able to leave an abuser because there were good times. He degraded me in front of other people and thought it was funny. It wasn't. And when I made the comments of "don't speak to me like that" or walked away, I was the crazy one. I was the one that was told, "Oh, it was a joke, get over it." Now, I'm not going to go fully into my trauma out of respect for the people that have actually gone and got help, because there's a lot to my background. But let's just say when it comes to trust, I'm still a work in progress on trusting people. But the choice to leave a toxic relationship is just as hard as staying. In fact, sometimes staying is easier because you know the triggers. You get to know the triggers and you say, it's all right. If I don't do this, it will all be safe. It will all be okay. But let's focus on Raylene, because this is a dedication, a tribute to one of the most beautiful girls who had her life taken at the age of 21. She lived in a small town in Canada, and I'm not going to give the exact location, but you can Google it. In the Manitoba Province is what I will say. I married Raylene's dad a long time ago now. Our relationship didn't work out, but my relationship with Raylene stayed. Raylene shared with me one day how there was this older man that kept coming into her work, kept coming in talking to her, and he seemed nice, but there was also something not quite right with him. Now, Raylene was one of the most friendliest people, which is why working in sales and in an area where she could help people, she excelled at. She always had a smile. She always had a cheeky approach. And I remember this one day. I was in Canada, and her dad and Raylene and I were sitting on the bed in this bedroom, and her dad had found these Coke Zero, I think it was Coke Zero ads. And there was they were like parts of the body. So one of them was the brain. I'm going to just give you a bit of a background story. And I'm pretty sure it was the brain or the eyes. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was a Coke ad or a Coke Zero ad, and there was a French accent. So my ex, Raylene's dad, had watched these quite a few times, and we're sitting in the bedroom, just chatting, and he started doing this ad, just doing one part of it with this French accent, and we laughed and laughed and laughed to the point where we were going, do it again. And Raylene would just like giggle about that. So when I'd come back to Australia and we talked, and, she would share aspects of her life with me. And she gave people opportunities all the time, but we used to talk about that ad. And neither of us could do the accent like her dad. It just made us laugh. But the whole thing, and still thinking about that memory, makes me laugh. When we were getting sorted for our wedding, or our marriage, I should say, Raylene was very good to my son. They met, they got on really well. She was a bit older than him, but they got on quite well. She made him feel welcome. And I really appreciated that, because we were in a different country. It was the little things that I noticed that Raylene did for people, not just for me, not just for my son, but for other people. Nothing was too much of a problem. So when this man was talking to her, and he appeared friendly, he appeared, chatty, she engaged. So if you did Google her story, you would say that they were known to each other, and that part is true. He kept asking her out, and she said, I don't feel comfortable. He's like the same age as my dad. I said, well, come to Australia and come and visit. We'll get you some tickets sorted, just come for a visit. We were sorting passports out. But before that trip could happen, and it was at the end of October, so it was Halloween. 1st of November was the actual date of her passing. Now, there is details that I'm not going to release, but Raylene had been out. He saw her, they connected, and he did a lot of nasty things to her. There's a lot that we haven't shared. The official cause of death was asphyxiation, and her body had been battered and bruised. There was no excuse for this behaviour. Now, I couldn't make it to Canada for the trial for various reasons, so I didn't get to hear the whole defence story. I heard enough from family there. But he took her life. She died at his hands. And he is in prison, serving his time He got maximum sentence, which was really good. But it doesn't take away that pain. Now, this man had a history of domestic violence, or I should say violence against women. And some people that he'd hurt. And there were other allegations, but the allegations, I can't talk to them. The allegations, and I don't know the facts. I know a lot, but I don't know, is he guilty of that or not? But he had a history of domestic violence, allegedly. And the people that he'd caused harm to in the past were afraid to speak up. Some were able to walk away, but they were afraid. Now, he had the excuse that he passed out. He lost time. He didn't know what he had done. Although after the incident, he did walk into the police department in Canada and confess, I think I killed somebody. And he took them back to where her body was. Later on, he had other defences as to why it happened, and he, but he was found guilty. Domestic violence of any description, and I'm going to just use domestic versus, because relationships are all different. They were not in a relationship. Raylene and James were not in a relationship. Now, I can use his name because it's public record. And he was found guilty of her murder. Violence of any description is not okay. But to any women out there that are going through violence and abuse at the hands of another person, whether it is a male or a female, I want you to think about your self-worth. I want you to think about, when is my time to get out? Because getting out is hard. People are going to judge you. People are going to tell you that you did the wrong thing because, that person is an amazing person. Because a lot of people who abuse other people have charisma and they're really good at hiding it. They make you feel like you are the problem, not them. And until they take accountability for their actions, nothing will change. I know people that have reformed. I know people that have been abusive in relationships and they've gone and got help and they've turned their life around, but they had to make that decision. I know other people that have been charged with abuse and they just repeat it and repeat it, and they are so good at targeting people. They're so good at convincing people. And this is what this person did to my stepdaughter, and this is what two men have done to me. Does that make us weak as women? Is there something wrong with us that we didn't see it? No. I'll tell you right now, often we see it, we know it, we see the red flags, we know it, but the love bombing that occurs is so intense that it can be hard to remember the red flags in those moments. Or you believe that they've changed. Now, in Raylene's case, that there wasn't the massive red flags outside of the fact that he was twice her age, but she was a friendly person. She thought, that's okay, I can talk to this person. But he targeted her. Raylene deserves to be here right now with her family, like having her own little family. Raylene deserves to be laughing at the Coke Zero ad, or at least her dad doing the accent. And Raylene deserved the opportunity to be a mum. She wanted to be a mum. She loved her little brother that her mum went on and had another child, and she loved him. She loved her nieces. Her heart was so big. She was often referred to as a ray of sunshine, because that's exactly her. She didn't get the opportunity to leave. I got the opportunity to leave. Shut those people out of my life. She didn't. Right now, March 2026, there's a case that has a potential to be considered a high-profile case of domestic violence and coercion. And the person has, you know, her statements to the police and all that are all out there. The person that allegedly caused harm to her has quite a high profile on, especially on, I'm not going to say exactly where because it's not my place to be, like, you can find the videos on YouTube and stuff like that. She had said, like many other women, that you go back because you think they've changed. And the one thing I will say to the people that are talking about all, like this particular case, but also other cases, and to the people that judge the people, those of us that stay, getting out is hard. When we get out, yes, there's relief, but our identity is lost. And that's why I'm putting together Empowered Woman book, which is coming out on May 8th, to talk about how powerful women can be and to help other people. And it's not about abuse. It's actually all about being an empowered woman. So there's a lot of layers to it. But to find your strength in your voice. And for those who have been women that have gone through abuse, whether it's at the hand of someone that they actually know or whether it's a stranger, you find your voice. Your identity is not wrapped up in with that other person. And you choose whether you stay being the victim or whether you find that voice, find those people that can support you and step up and take that deep breath. But plan when you leave. Make sure you've got everything in place, because when you leave, you will be vulnerable, you will be scared, you will feel a sense of relief. But I'm going to come back to that vulnerability. You will think, am I doing the right thing? And somewhere, someone will tell you that you're not. He's the most amazing man. They're the most amazing person. Because remember, abuse can happen. Women can abuse men. Women can abuse other women. Abuse is abuse. Raylene at 21 was making a really positive impact on this world with her smile, with her amazing energy, with her sense of humour. She had such high hopes for her life, plans, and that was taken away from her. And while it hurts that she was taken away from us, she's one person. There are thousands upon thousands of women who are left with physical injuries, like permanent restrictions, the emotional abuse. If you're in that situation of violence, or you've been in it and you've got out, and that person comes along with their love bombing, oh, I didn't mean it, I've changed. Here, they will show you how much they've changed, but they can't keep it up. They can't change in 6 months to the degree that you would want them to change. And the one thing that I've learned is we can want someone to change, we can support them to change, we can give them all the tools, all the love, all the support, we can give them everything. We can want it for them, and then we want it so badly because there's an element of us that loves them. And then they do that one little thing. And then they do that next thing. And they know which buttons to push to get you to see their amazingness, their awesomeness. I've changed. Look at me. I miss you. I love you. You're amazing. You're beautiful. And even though you don't really believe it from them, there'll be something that tries to draw you back in. And when they don't get that way, that's when the abuse comes back. That cycle. So you might be saying, no, I'm done, and you block them and you do all those things. And you might choose to agree to certain things, like you go, like, let's just agree, no contact. And you might get it have legally written up and all of that. But it doesn't mean that they won't try to contact you indirectly. Doesn't mean that they won't sit outside your house. Doesn't mean that they won't come and pound on your door. Even though they're not supposed to contact you, even though they're supposed to not come near you because of restraining orders, it doesn't mean that they won't try, or they won't get someone else to go and talk to you. And then when that doesn't work, they talk badly about you. Ah, she's crazy. She's freaking always been crazy. Because they're not the problem, apparently. You are. Now, as I said, Raylene's situation was slightly different, but it was violence that took her life. What this man did to her body, and her, in an evening, led to her death. So, as an empowered woman, even when you don't feel like you're empowered, you are. You've got the strength within you to keep going, to help hold people accountable for their actions and their behavior. And then when you are in a safe space, you take the time to heal. You take the time to get the right help. And sometimes that psychologist and that counselor is exactly where you should be. You can go and do courses, you can go and talk to other people, you can go and volunteer, you can go and work, you can go and do all those other things. But getting that professional help that's detached from the situation, that has no opinion or should not be sharing their opinion with you, very professional, to help you deal with those core feelings and emotions of, oh, maybe it wasn't so bad. I remember this part. This was really nice. For every person that's hurt me, I can tell you positives about them. But as you take back your control and your voice, especially as a woman, surround yourself with the right people that will give you the right information to make an informed decision. And don't accept that you were the problem until you've done your own self-analysis away from that and go, okay, what was my part in that? And maybe there wasn't your part. Maybe there was a little bit that was your part. But this isn't a judgment thing. This is about standing in your power as the most amazing, incredible woman you are. Now, I'm starting with one of the heaviest topics to share this video with you today, to share about empowered women positive impact project. The next series of videos that you will see, more than likely from May onwards, we might drip out a few more in April as we go into the launch of the book in May. Excuse me. You're going to see interviews of women who are empowered in their way, in their space. Some are business owners, so we're going to have a few business owners. They're also in the book. We're going to talk to them, and it won't be as heavy as this. But I wanted to start with this one, and as a tribute to Raylene, and I wanted to speak up around abuse, and to say to the women that are going through it, maybe you've left the relationship, maybe you're trying to leave the relationship, find your time to leave. There's never the perfect time, I'll tell you that right now. When you've had enough, but you need to get clear-headed and have a plan. Get the right support. When you do leave, do your best to focus on the moment. I had a list. I carried a little list with me, piece of paper in my purse. And it was all the things that he did to me that were just degrading, were just not okay. I kept that list with me because it's really easy to go to the good times. Raylene's dad and I, there was no abuse there. That's not why our relationship ended. And it takes you time to heal and time to get over it. And it can be scary and it can be lonely and everybody's got an opinion. But when you are surrounded by the right people that are supporting you, not invested in this for any other reason than to say, I'm here walking with you. You lead the way. I'm with you. And if you stumble, I'm going to help you back up. I'm going to give you an arm. I'm going to give you a hand. This is on your terms. You tell me what you need. Good friends will sit there and say, okay, so let's go to the list. Oh, remember when he did this amazing thing? Yeah, now let's go to the list. Let's go to wherever, not to re-traumatize you. And counsellors have amazing ways to help you with this. So this is just a strategy that I found was really useful. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid things. It's part of being human. But violence is not a mistake. Coercive control, verbal abuse, threats to kill you are not jokes. They're not you. You haven't caused it. And someone says, oh, I'm so angry with you, I could kill you right now. And they've hit you. Take that as a threat and protect yourself. Empowered women will empower other women. I do hope to speak to other people that have gone through abuse and are on the other side so you can hear their stories, to share it, to empower you, to encourage you that if you're in an abusive situation, find your time to leave. You don't deserve it. It is not your fault. Them abusing you is not your fault unless you are somehow pushing their buttons. It's not a blame game. I'm not interested in blaming people. There are two sides to every story. Actually, there's three sides to every story. Sorry, that's three. Three sides to every story. There's yours, theirs, and the truth. And the reason I say three is because we each recap a story from our own perspective, and then an outsider will have a different perspective. But you do not deserve abuse. You do not deserve to be go crazy. You don't deserve to take the blame. People are going to say, hey, she pushed me to it. He pushed me to it. Did they? Was there another way? So let's bring forward the positivity for women to stand up and be their amazing selves. And let's thank the men that actually stand up and support the women to be their amazing self. To accept them. Like, let's celebrate the men that accept women for who they are and treat them with love and respect. Thank you to those men. Thank you to those men that will stand up and fight for a woman. And thank you to the women that will stand up and fight for the men that have been abused. I saw Empowered Women Positive Impact Project. Yes, I'm starting with businesses outside of this video. The next lot of videos will be interviews of business owners. And it's all about sharing their positive impact in this world. But my tribute to Raylene is to open up the door and remind women that you don't have to accept abuse. You don't have to accept being re-traumatized. There is a way to move forward and to honour that beautiful ray of sunshine that was in my life for a short period. Raylene Dawn Grant, you are missed and you are still loved. Always in our heart. And to those of you that have lost somebody to violence, sending you love, because there's a loss of a child, there's a loss of a loved one, and please take your time to heal. And let's empower and support each other. We can do this. We can make a positive impact in this world, and the world needs more positive impact. Positivity. The world needs more support, genuine support. I did warn you I would cry. Oh, my nose. I acknowledge it's a heavy one, but it's a topic we've got to talk about. Nothing changes if we don't talk about it. But it's how we talk about it that I want to really set the scene for. We've got to be really positive as much as we can for horrible stuff. We've got to honour that it's not right. It's not how it should be. I probably mumbled there. I'm sorry. I'm just going to recap that. We've got to honour that there is some positivity that can come out of trauma, and positivity that can come out of abuse. And the thing is that when we talk about it, we should be mindful that we don't want to re-traumatize people. There's people out there that interview victims of crime, and they get very close to those victims, and then they treat them like you were just a person, and it's not very nice. Because trauma takes its time, and I'm not a trauma expert. I've gone through enough of my trauma, and slowly I might share more of my story. But it leaves scars. So if you think of, if you cut yourself deep enough and you have stitches, you're left with a scar. And that scar, like whether it's on your arm or wherever, it can't move, right? So it just, the skin around it isn't as flexible as it once was. It just can't move as freely as it did before the scar was put there. And that's what trauma does, is trauma leaves a scar, whether it's a physical scar or an invisible scar, it leaves a scar. So when we talk about trauma and when we talk about abuse of any kind, the scar, we're not as flexible, we're not as free to move as we once were. Even when we heal, there's still a tiny aspect of us that's a little bit stuck. So if we can come together and support each other, it's going to make the world a better place. And I know not everybody's going to like this video. I get it. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm creating this wave of positivity by saying and talking about some of the harder topics. But, you know, you can watch the other topics as well that are a lot lighter. A lot of the work I do with ISOARe with Jacqui G, ISOARE with Jacqui G, is about empowerment. It's about your voice. It's about your confidence. It's about moving forward in life through knowing who you are, through being who you are, accepting all aspects of yourself and being uniquely you. I've started with the hardest video for this project. I might lose subscribers. Whatever. That's okay. This channel is about empowerment, not just women, but empowerment through knowing who you are, being who you are, accepting who you are. No be accept. And I will share videos on our awesome tools that we have. And I will share videos on hoping to inspire you. I will share my music. This has been a hard one. But I started hard so that we could open up the conversation of where women lose their identity and their voice. And I'm just going to take that a step further, where people lose their identity and their voice through abuse. Abuse is not okay. Coercive manipulation is not okay. But when we come together and we call it out in a proactive way, we come together to support people. And the people that have gone through this, that want to share their story, it is not me wanting to give them a voice for any other reason than they deserve to have a voice. But in sharing their story, and they will tell it how they want to tell it, they can speak up and say, I was a victim. And I still feel vulnerable. But if I share my story, it might give someone else the courage to take action. That's what this is about. Empowerment. Building people up. Not wrapping them in cotton wool, but giving them the opportunity to use their voice in a way that can help someone else. And that's why we're starting with business owners, because it's not as heavy. Well, after this. Okay, I forgot for a moment that we've got this video. Gotta love ADHD. It is me. I'm accepting me. I'm not going to apologize as such if you've watched the end of this, watched this whole video and go, oh, that was heavy. That was hard. If it was, let's take a deep breath and stretch out. Bit of a breath, bit of a, We've got this when we support each other. We have this. So let's empower each other to make this world a better place within our control. Now, if you found some value in this video, please click that like button. If this might help someone else, please share it with them. I appreciate you. If you've got this far, thank you. I appreciate you. Now, we're going to just take one more deep breath and stretch out just a little more to move through those emotions, get that emotion flowing. And when I finish this video, I'm going to just make myself a drink, stretch a bit more, smile as I remember Raylene's laughter, probably cry a bit more. And that Coke ad, which I'm probably going to go and see if it still exists. It was an ad, but it was just the funniness of it. Yes, it was a good time. And pitching her laughing so hard she nearly fell off the bed. They're the memories that you hold on to when you've lost somebody. The amazingness of that person. And, you know, was she perfect? Oh gosh, no. But neither am I. So in honour of Raylene, her story might be able to help someone else, and that's why I've shared the very broadness of it. Alright guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much.